Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday morning worship service of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church in Naperville, Illinois. I'm Katie Hay, a member of your Board of Trustees. We're glad that you are here, whether you are present in the sanctuary this morning or watching remotely. It is so good to be together. We welcome you to our church and invite you to get to know us better during and after the service. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another on our spiritual and religious journeys while holding ourselves in covenant. The rich, liberal legacy of Unitarian Universalism is rooted in our faith's 7 principles. These principles guide our faithful actions as we work to transform the world to be more just and equitable. You may find these principles listed on our website or on the wall in our social hall. Whoever you are, wherever you are on life's journey, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome here. Today, as most Sundays, we worship as a multi-generational community. Before we begin, although I don't see any, quietly take a moment to be aware of those of us sharing this space. Let us recognize the hearts of our whole community, from our eldest to our youngest to all those in heaven. Hi, Owen. All those in between. Let us embody the beauty of this all-church community, even when there are a few more wiggles, giggles, and chatter. If you feel a need to move to quieter or less active space, feel free to do so. No harm, no foul. Let us remind ourselves to listen carefully and calm our minds. Begin by breathing peace and joy into this sacred space. You are surrounded by love of this community. All and all ages are welcome. And now Kat Gilder, one of the chairs of our capital campaign, has an announcement for us.
Good morning. I am Kat Gelder, a co-chair of our Embracing the Future Capital campaign, and I wanted to give you another update this morning on our campaign progress. As many of you may have read in Thursday's monthly newsletter, we are excited to share that we have surpassed our goal of $1.15 million. And we are truly grateful to you all. But in fairness, I have to also share that this figure is not entirely accurate, because you see, since we submitted the update to the newsletter, we have blown past the second benchmark of $1.3 million, which is enough to eliminate our debt entirely.
Wow.
Just wow. We are continually blown away by this congregation and our abundance and generosity. As the campaign pledges come in over the next 3 years, this will enable us to completely pay off our bank loan and personal loans. They will be finished. And then that will enable us to continue our current programming with a balanced budget, which is exactly what we had hoped for. And so you may be wondering, what now? This is when things get even more exciting. For every dollar that exceeds the $1.3 million, we will be firmly on a path that allows us to embrace the future that you, the board, and the staff have been sharing with us over the past several months. As you know, a big part of this campaign involves asking you for your hopes and dreams and for what comes next for DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. And what are we hearing? Things like taking care of our building, building up our music, RE, and adult enrichment programs, funding for our staff's professional growth, setting aside money to host UU ministerial interns. And once we have the stability of paying off our debt, we can tackle even more dreams. Every gift gets us further into these dreams, so thank you, thank you, thank you. For many of you that we have not yet spoken to about your dreams for our church, we would like you to consider signing up for a cottage meeting. And what do you know? There will be a sign-up table in Creeves Hall after the service. Woo, yes! We have 5 cottage meetings coming up in April. So sign up even if you are not able to give a gift to the campaign, please sign up because we do want to hear everyone's dreams. And if you are not able to attend a college meeting, we still do need your annual promise, which funds our annual budget. And we need that within the next 3 weeks so that we can plan a budget for next year. Again, we will have both promise cards and campaign pledge cards available in Creeves Hall between services. And so, my friends, thank you for all the outpouring of your love for this community and your generosity in embracing our future.
You all just blow me away, day after day. It's wonderful. Now, if you are online, I invite you to greet each other through the chat. And if you are present here, I invite you to turn to someone you did not come with and greet them with a wave and a good morning greeting.
highlight this chalice today for our second Unitarian Universalist principle. We believe in justice, equity, and compassion in human relations.
Good morning on this cloudy, rainy day. We need the rain, but that sun yesterday was pretty nice, huh? Yeah. Our vision of beloved community means that we gather in this place, a place of love, of communal flourishing, a place where we enter to open our hearts, to expand our minds, and to see the sacred within each other. Come, let us worship together.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn 391, Voice Still and Small.
Thought I might catch you before you sat down, but please join me in our mission. We gather as an inclusive community to grow in character, mind, and spirit, and to transform the world toward fairness, love, and compassion.
Our vision of beloved community is rooted in the relationships that we have with each other, our world, and creation. Each week, we offer the opportunity to share our joys and sorrows aloud. This week, our flowers were given by Sandra Sansone Brennan in celebration of birth, and new birth. It is the season of spring indeed. I would ask that you hold in your prayers and thoughts all of the Unitarian Universalist religious professionals of color who are gathering this week in Puerto Rico for a retreat and opportunity to grow and learn with each other. My partner is there, and so is our choir director, Amanda Thomas, as are so many other religious professionals of color. Please hold them in your thoughts that they might have a worthwhile trip. I also have a message from Meadville Lombard Theological School to this congregation, most especially Neil, Lickman, and Pat, for your hosting our lovely Meadville Lombard Theological School event last week, Thursday. They send so much gratitude to you all. Thank you. Yes. And let us continue to hold what is happening in Gaza, in the Ukraine and the very many, many other places in this world where strife and conflict and death seem to be a daily occurrence for folks. Let us remember that we are all sacred, and we all deserve to flourish and not live in fear. Whether your concerns or your joys are held in your hearts or they're shared aloud here, know that this community cares for one another. Feel free to reach out to me or to any of our pastoral ministries associates to share a sorrow, to have a companion on life's journey, or to celebrate with you in your moment of joy. Our meditative prayer today is a musical response from Vera, our pianist.
It is time to gather, and we'd like to invite, although it looks like a lot of them went to Texas already for the eclipse tomorrow, but we'd like to invite the kids to come forward. We'd like to have a little conversation with you.
Or the young at heart, you all are welcome too. I can always rely on Kat when I say that, and you absolutely are young at heart.
All right.
All right, so today we're talking about listening. Do you know what hearing is? Yes, what's hearing? When you hear sound. But listening is a little different than hearing. Hearing is when you hear sound, but listening is when you actually understand or comprehend something that you listened to. Listening is hard. At least maybe I find it hard, because sometimes I don't like what is being said. Like when my mom and dad used to tell me that I had to put away my toys, I didn't like listening to that. Does that relate to any of you? Yeah. I also sometimes don't like listening because I'm too busy, and it would take time. So it's something that I need to learn. It's something that I need to cultivate. So one of the ways that I can learn how to listen is to be curious. And today, Steve and I are going to hone our listening skills by being curious about you all.
So we have some questions for you. One question is, what makes a perfect day for you? Who would like to share with us what makes a perfect day for you? Owen, come on up.
Being with my friends and family.
Anybody else want to share what makes a perfect day for them? Luna, come on.
I like when it rains really hard.
I would like you to share with us who is your best friend and what do you like most about them? Who's your best friend?
Hazel.
Hazel? And why?
Because she, when I fall, she helps me.
That's very nice.
Lucian?
So my best friend is my cat, Tug, because like we understand each other, and like we're always there for each other. Yeah.
Would any of you like to share your favorite memory from last summer or your favorite memory at all? Share a story about your favorite memory. Owen, come on up.
At summer camp, we went for a trip,
A retreat?
Field trip.
Field trip.
and we found, or we went to a place with a cave, and it was really cool.
Do you have a favorite memory?
All right, here's one. If you could create a new holiday, what would it be for, and how would we celebrate it?
Yeah, go ahead. You have one?
It would be Giggle Day,
Giggle Day.
and we just laugh a lot.
And when would that happen?
When would that happen? On my birthday.
Good.
Anybody else have a holiday that they would like to celebrate? A new holiday. And how would you celebrate it? Owen? Come on. Everybody wants to hear.
That's okay.
That's all right.
Flower Day
Flower Day. When would you celebrate it?
today.
Today? Awesome. How would you celebrate it?
You would put up like flower decorations
Nice.
and like plant trees and flowers and
I love it.
pretty things.
All right. Do you have any questions?
What's one thing that always makes you happy?
The sunset always makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dog.
Your dog, yeah. What's something you like to do with your family?
I love to play board games, and I love to win.
Do you have a question for us? What's your favorite thing about church?
The maze outside.
The labyrinth? Yeah. peace and love.
All right, well, thank you for sharing with us, and let us listen to you rather than you having to listen to us.
And I want you to know that Steve and I are around quite a bit, not just on Sundays, but during the week. And we are always happy to listen to you. You can come knock on our doors or find us. We love your ideas. Or if you just have something you want to tell us, you know, like something good that happened in school, or even something bad that happened in your life, and you just need somebody to listen, that's what we're here for. We'd love to do that, okay? And that goes for all of you who are sitting in chairs, too, not just on the floor.
All right, let's sing to the children.
Giving of our treasure is how we reciprocate the many gifts that we are given by this community. Your contribution supports the programs and operations of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. Giving is also how we live out our values in the world. Each month, we share our offering with an organization nominated by the congregation and selected by the special offering team. This April, the special collection will benefit Hope Fair Housing, nominated by DUUC member Barbara Roos. Based in Wheaton, Hope serves over 30 counties in northern and north central Illinois to create greater housing opportunities so that everyone has a chance to live in the community, home, apartment of their choice, free from discrimination. Hope accomplishes this through education, outreach, enforcement, training, and advocacy. This morning's offering to support the work of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church and Hope Fair Housing Center is given and received in a spirit of generosity and gratitude. Mindful by Mary Oliver. Every day, I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the oceans shine, the prayers that are made out of grass.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn 123, Spirit of Life.
We have become a society ready to spring into action, to respond to what is before us. And sometimes that's super helpful, like in the pandemic. But being ready for action, ready to respond, is not always a useful tool. In fact, being ready for action and response usually means that we begin to assume things. And we all know what assuming says about us, right? This is a sermon, by the way, for me. Sometimes my sermons are very much based on lessons that I need to learn. But I have a feeling it's also something that other people can relate to. I would venture a guess that one of the reasons that we're in the political dichotomy we are in is because we are hearing each other, but we're not listening. Now, that might sound like the same thing, but as we talked with the children today, hearing is the physical act of using our ears. Listening uses our brains, comprehending what we hear, and moreover, comprehending what we don't hear. After all, many of the things that we listen to are not through sound, but through things that we see or feel. We struggle. I struggle. We struggle with listening as a society. Listening requires us to slow down. Something that can be really hard to do, and something that we actually have to intentionally do. In fact, I would venture to guess that many of our versions of listening, mine included, mean listening to respond. Now, we might justify listening to respond as dialogue, but listening to respond is not actually dialogue. Listening to respond includes that not so lovely component of assumption. Even before someone shares their thoughts or feelings with us, we assume things about them. We assume the direction of the conversation. We assume that another person can relate. This form of communication makes sense most of the time. Sometimes we don't have the time, let alone the energy to partake in deep, meaningful conversations. And sometimes it's literally, what do you want for dinner, and not what are your deepest feelings and dreams. We would never get anything done if we had to truly listen to all those subtexts all the time. Unfortunately, our methods of communication have become so habitually focused on accomplishing an end goal, of having our own say, that sometimes we fail to move into the space that Mary Oliver speaks about, the place that lets us become scholars of each other and the world, a place that lets us contemplate a new way of being, a place that lets us be transformed. So today we're going to try something new. I love trying something new. Thanks, Kat. At least somebody's excited. Now, I promise you that this new thing will not be painful, but it could be uncomfortable. I'm looking for 2 people who are willing to step out of your comfort zones, to stretch yourself, to learn. May I have some hands? Russ, thank you. Katie, thank you. Come on up and have a seat. I appreciate that, and I do not take it lightly. All right. So, who wants to go first? I promise you, it's not hard. Okay. So here's the task. You are going to tell Russ a story of a time in your life where you felt great joy. Great joy. You can add as many details or not to your story, keeping in mind that, we only have so much time here this morning. No.
Nice.
No.
He's a Boy Scout. He comes prepared.
There you go. Your responsibility, Russ, as the listener, is that you cannot make any response to Katie's story. You cannot smile. You cannot nod your head. You cannot ask questions. You cannot, okay. You can't do anything but look at her intently and listen to her story. Okay? There we go. And when you're done, we're going to switch. And Russ, you will share something. All right? Katie, share with us one of your greatest joys.
There are so many, but I'm just going to go back one day and share with you that my daughter, Maggie, and her husband and his daughter came for lunch yesterday. And Maggie's early life was full of a lot of crushing moments for her, I'll just say that. And she's now 35 years old, and she has finally gotten to the point where she has room for compassion and empathy again. And it's such a beautiful thing. And we were talking yesterday, and she was in tears over someone else's loss, someone that she doesn't even know very well. And I just reached over and I just told her how amazing I thought she was to have come to this place in her life so that she can embrace other people's pain and empathize with that. So it was an amazing thing for me.
All right. Russ, do you have any clarifying questions about Katie's story?
This sounds like a transformation of some kind, which brought the joy to such heights. And I guess the clarifying question for me was, there was a change. And what I'm not clear about is, before she became so compassionate, what was she like?
Because of a lot of loss early in life, she had put up walls and was rather defensive about many things. And I kept hoping as time passed that she would get softer again. And it has happened, and it's joyous.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Katie, for sharing your story. All right, if you'll hand the microphone to Russ, you can share a story of joy. And Katie, no smiling, no nodding, no mm-hmming. Yes, some of us need to put our hands under our legs so we do not respond. Yes.
Probably the most joyous day of my life was November 3rd, last year, 2023, my wife and Carol and my 50th anniversary. And we planned for it. We kind of broke the bank. We went downtown, stayed at the Palmer House, went to the Chicago Symphony, saw the Planets performing, and went to nice restaurants. The next morning, we got up, went to another nice restaurant, went to the Art Institute, just things we like to do. And I have a little video of Carol sitting across from me at Miller's Pub on Wabash Avenue, and she's stirring her coffee. Dink, dink, dink. And you can see the Miller's clock in the background. And the special menu said November 3rd, 1973. And it was so happy because Carol's been through a lot. Serious injury. We didn't know for a while if she was going to come out of it. And to imagine that we made it 50 years. Our motto is, we always say, well, at least we have each other, which when we get irritated, we say that to each other. So the fact that we made it just still having each other was my most joyful day in my life.
Katie, do you have any clarifying questions for us? Yep. All right. What did it feel like to tell your story?
It felt affirming, felt good. It relived the experience, which I will never forget, and an opportunity to share it with the world, which was nice.
Katie, what did it feel like to tell your story to someone who was listening?
Like you said, it's the reliving of it and having your complete and total attention, knowing that you're taking in everything I'm saying and can perhaps almost feel what I was feeling at that time and being able to share that.
Mm-hmm. What did it feel like to listen?
I didn't do a very good job of not smiling because Russ was just, it was such a charming story, and I'm happy for both of you. I'm ecstatic, and I can't appreciate all you've been through, but I just stopped trying not to smile after a while. I thought, this is ridiculous. Anyway, but it was, thank you for sharing. It was lovely. I know you. I don't know you very well, and now I know you a little bit better, so that's nice too.
Russ, what did it feel like for you to listen with no expression?
I confess that in the very beginning I was guilty of what you talked about, which was planning my next agenda. What am I going to talk about? And after a few seconds of that, I had to put the brakes on and say, whoa, got a job here, pay attention. And then as you were speaking, I tried to, in fact, I remembered an experience I recently had with my older brother, who he's older than I am, obviously, and I'm seeing some transformation in him. And I'm thinking, whoa, what happened? And I know what that felt like for me. And I even said to him, I said, after all these years, I think I'm getting to know you. So when you talked about that, that's why I thought transformation, and I thought 35, yep. That's when a lot of big things happen. And it's why I was curious then, because it was so good, what worried you so much before? And I hoped I didn't miss that in the beginning of your talk while I was thinking about what I was going to talk about.
How did you wish you could respond?
Well, I did, because I gave up on not smiling. I was just so happy with everything you were telling me. It was so joyous for you, and I just wanted to feel free to express that at the time. And as I say, I gave up, and I just let myself enjoy it. So
I have to say, I tried to be poker faced the whole time. But what I thought was, I'm sorry, I don't care what your rules are, you can't suppress tears. And they were starting to come because this idea of a child finally waking up, and you saw him after 35 years, is extremely moving.
Did you feel listened to?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Thank you. Thank you both for taking a chance to grow. This is an exercise that I was forced to participate in during seminary, and it was uncomfortable because we're relational creatures. We want to know that people not only listen and hear us, but that they understand, that they relate to us. When Russ was talking, I wanted to share your joy. When Katie was talking, I wanted to cry because I understand transformation. Now, I'm not suggesting that we walk through this world listening in an unresponsive way, or at least a non-expressive way. That wasn't the intention or lesson of this exercise. This exercise is about honing those listening skills. I remember when I did this in seminary, I was incredibly self-conscious about my responses or lack thereof. I remember thinking, does this person know that I care about them? Obviously, I'm listening, but do they know that I care? I had a lot of questions for the person I was listening to as well. But as I heard their story, I also wanted to share the ways that I could relate to them. That's not a bad thing. Relating to each other means we can understand each other better. We share similar experiences, find empathy with one another. Yet sometimes people just want to be heard. In fact, the person I listened to said that in their feedback. Their response to the exercise was, I felt listened to. Anyone who has ever experienced a loss in your life has probably experienced someone listening to you but not really listening. When someone you love dies, it's very normal for other people to share their own stories of loved ones lost. This is a form of empathy, a desire to share our hurt in order to heal and understand where someone is coming from, but sometimes sharing our own grief only makes other people hurt more and feel unseen. True listening means that we have the opportunity to bridge the great divides of the human experience, especially when there are moments of our lives in which we cannot relate to one another. There is a risk in those moments that we open ourselves to the other, an experience foreign to our own way of being, and when we do so, it's possible that we might be transformed forever. Valerie Carr's saying that a stranger is a part of me I do not yet know is more true than we suspect. For it turns the stranger we listen to into a part of ourselves. That can be a terrifying prospect, but it's also a way that we can connect on the elemental level to those we do not know and learn more about our own selves in the process. Truly listening to others with a vastly different experience than our own means that we also have the opportunity to listen through nonverbal cues. This is that scholarship that Mary Oliver was talking about. So that when I listen to the rhetoric of the political conservative, I can no longer hear, close our borders, but I turn to listen to the ways that they think their life is threatened by opening our borders. Or when I hear someone say, ban abortions, I can listen to hear that they believe their theology is wrapped up in the morality of how we are all bound together. And when I really can listen to that, then I can learn to unravel all of those pieces. Listening to those who seem so different from us, truly listening to them, creates a more complete picture of the person that is before us. It allows us to truly see the sacred within each other, a part of us that we learn to relate to, or we learn to discover a new part of ourself. In a Unitarian Universalist congregation, honing our ability to listen is the second most important skill we can cultivate. If you're curious, the most important skill, I believe, is the same that all humans must do, and that is self-understanding. But we are a pluralistic faith tradition. This means we not only have different ways of being in the world from our many perspectives and social and political locations, but we also have many ways of believing. So listening is a skill that is vital to our claim to fame as a denomination of our pluralism. The pluralistic nature of our tradition is a gift that can radically bring our world together. Yet in order to do so, we must hone our listening skills, practice the art of listening, live into the sound of listening, the silence of absorbing another person's story. Doing so means we might just transform ourselves and the world.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn 112, Do You Hear?
As you leave this place, I charge you to find a practice of listening. Maybe you listen to one person each week, eventually expanding that number until it becomes a habitual practice. Whatever it is, take time each week, but especially this week, to listen to each other and listen to the other silences and what they have to say too. like the birds in the trees or the new blossoms. Together, may our ability to listen transform the world.
Thank you, Rev. Mandy, for a joyful service and giving us the opportunity to listen together. Please join me in our closing words. We extinguish the light of this chalice, but not the light in our hearts. Until we meet again, may the warmth of our community carry you.